Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and you are watching, yes, or listening to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. And thank you so much for popping in tonight. It is Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. I'm so happy that you popped in tonight to say hello to me and to catch our great topic. But before we get to the topic, if you're watching us, launch that smartphone on your camera, smart device. Aim it to the QR code, touch the yellow lips, and voila, you'll get my link tree. If you are not watching us and instead you are listening to us on the podcast, well, then just go to believemeachieve.com. All right, I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, whether you're here at 11 p.m., 11 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 p.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 2 p.m., 2 a.m., or whenever you're watching or listening. Thank you so much for making IFYL a daily part of your fulfilled motivation to help you get what you need to be doing in your life. All right, so I want to talk to you guys about another great topic, and you know the topic, don't you? Here it is: how to handle conversations. Series 2, second year, show 24, episode 5. What else can we talk about? Well, there's a lot. So we know we're in our second year. We're on the 24th episode. We are on our fifth episode of the show for this, because we do this. We start on a Saturday, we roll through the week, and we finish up on a Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to share this with you. We are at 653 podcast audio episodes. Hey, wow, that is absolutely awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So when we think about difficult times or challenges, right? We talked about ARPC, but sometimes a conversation happens and we fall into it. We try to be polite, but then we're like, we really don't want to be part of this conversation anymore. So what the heck do we do? Well, what we do is we pretty much we try to be helpful, right? Unfortunately, we make ourselves feel uncomfortable. All right. So let's talk about this a little deeper. So, handling conversations at a store. Maybe you went to, I don't know, the dollar store, maybe you went to the grocery store or a department store, it doesn't matter. And maybe you're at the register and the lady or gentleman says to you, you look great today. Now, you might think that's an amazing thing, right? But if you don't think you look good, you could hold that against them, which is not a good thing, but some people do. So when somebody says something to you, or if they ask a question like, "Oh, so you're shopping alone today? Do you have any kids?" So you can ignore it, but that's not a great thing to do. You can be like, "What's the total?" Or you could do that once, and then they come back and they ask you again. I heard you the first time. I don't want to answer that. That's none of your business. So you can do that in a polite way. But sometimes people in the store have a way of they're trying to be friendly, but I think they're pushing too much. That's the biggest thing I can see. They're pushing too much. How about at a restaurant? All right. I know this because I served when I was in high school and college. And I will tell you that being a server is not easy. Then I graduated up to being a black tie for more formal events, weddings, etc. And then graduated to becoming a banquet captain, which is the person that basically makes sure that the wait staff and the servers are doing what they're supposed to do. The tables are all set correctly, and they kind of advise, because if something's wrong, it falls basically on my shoulders. So you're at a restaurant or you're at a banquet hall, okay, or a catering hall. And maybe, you're at a table and you're serving some bread to the people, croissant, sourdough, and okay. So now maybe you hear them talking about the football game. Okay, like, Oh yeah, yeah. My brother watches it all the time. Definitely want the Giants or to win. And so that doesn't seem really too bad. But suppose when you made the comment of, yeah, I like the Giants. What team are you rooting for? And they might go quiet at you. They might just look at you. But that's a good indication that you're not welcome in that conversation. Now you might feel just because you're hanging out or you're all guys and you're all there and supporting each other, but unfortunately there is a line, okay, that is different. Okay. There is a line that is different. And so that line is about knowing where you need to be and when you need to be somewhere. Because if you don't understand that line, oh, it can be a big, big problem. I mean, a really big problem. And so it can be very subtle that this isn't working the way you want, or it can be something that is different, right? And so what does that mean? Different. Well, different means that it's something you're not welcome at. That's right. I said it's something you're not welcome at. And so if you're not welcome at something, then you need to get out. But sometimes servers, waiters, they can be a little pushy, like, oh, come on, you can talk to me. We're all guys. And so you're making that person feel uncomfortable. Have you ever been somewhere and maybe, you asked the server to get you some pepper or get you some more salt or get you butter or rolls? And like, oh, yeah, sure. And they bring it over to you and they bring it over to you, but then they're almost too friendly. Like, oh, yeah, we have this. And can I get you anything else? Did you want extra sauerkraut? Did you want extra mashed potatoes? Can I? No, I'm good. And they're doing it to be friendly, but it might make you feel uncomfortable, like you might owe them something. You don't, but they're hoping that you're going to give them a better tip, which is nothing wrong with that. But if the conversation is not welcome, okay, they might ask you a question. It could be something as simple as a, a guy at a banquet, and it could be maybe it could be some teens or older, and they're talking about going to this dance or the prom, and the guy who's serving says, "Oh yeah, I remember a time I was out and what I did and what you really should do." And they're feeling a little uncomfortable because these are almost teens or a little over teens, and the guy might be like 28 or 30, and it feels awkward. Generally, the awkward feeling happens when it's around 12, 15 years, roughly somewhere around there. And it's different for everybody. So when that happens, you can say to the person, hey, I appreciate it, but we're good. Or yeah, we don't really want to talk about that right now. And hopefully they'll get the message. If you are polite, even if they're trying to be very friendly and try to be nice to you, they're not trying to harm you and they're not doing it to aggravate you. But sometimes that extra friendliness might feel like they're all up in your face. And it could be something as simple as one of the staff holding the door for you. I remember being at a function and having to hold the champagne tray. And I remember, offering the champagne to one of the ladies there and some other people. And then they came back, and I was supposed to just be collecting champagne glasses. But then they throw all their other stuff on the tray, like their knives, their forks, their plates. And that's not what the champagne tray is designed for. But I can't tell them no. And so after I get those, I have to kind of leave because I can't balance with more of those champagne. And the people are being rude. Okay. But the customer's always right. So how do you handle that situation? Well, you have to be careful because if you say the wrong thing, they're going to go back to the captain, or they're going to go back to the banquet manager and say, hey, that guy, Bob, down there in the front, yeah, he has a real attitude. I put something on his tray and he told me I couldn't put it there. So I think you have to have a sense and knowing whether it's welcome. So if you're at the table and let's say, maybe you're a year away, maybe you're a junior and you're just about ready to graduate next year as a senior, and you're talking to a freshman that's in college and they're talking about all the things they do, the frats, the drinking, all the stuff, and you're liking and you're feeling comfortable, and that's okay. But if having that conversation makes you feel uncomfortable, awkward, makes you feel threatened in any way, it's probably something you want to end. As I said before, when somebody gives you answers that are like one-word answers, and I had somebody the other day, they were going to a salesperson, and when they're giving those one-word answers, that's an indication that they just want you to shut up. It's not nice. They'll be like, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. And they don't do it to be mean. They do it because they don't know how to handle you. That's why they say, she's just going to a meeting, or he's just leaving for the day. He's not leaving for the day. He's still there for several hours. He just doesn't know how to handle you. So they say, and they don't even have a card for this person. It's funny. They don't have a card for the person. They have a card for everybody else, but they don't have a card for the office manager. So at a banquet, it can be daunting, especially maybe you're at a table and you ask the server, like, can we have 2 more chairs? Because like my girlfriend showed up and her boyfriend showed up and, other boy, so something like that. And so when that happens, she has 2 boyfriends, so you need another chair, 2 chairs. And so the server might come back and say, your boyfriend? Well, it's her boyfriend. I'm also her boyfriend. She has 2 boyfriends. And just getting in that conversation can be awkward. So just give us the 2 chairs, please. Okay. And you have to know when to be quiet. You have to know when what somebody's doing, even if it does not agree with what you believe in, you need to shut up. Because you're there to serve them. Okay, that's what a server does. And they should not be disrespectful or rude to you. But if they are, you do not have the right to show them that you're upset. Whenever somebody was rude to me, which was very rare, I would thank them, whatever the plates. May I get you anything else? No, we're all good. You can just leave. And you leave and you don't say anything, and you might swallow something in your throat, because if you said something, you know that you're probably going to get fired that night. Now, you're going to get people that are going to be horrible. I mean, I'm sorry, it's going to happen. But at a restaurant, it could be something like the check is wrong. Like, server, Chris, yeah, we ordered 2 champagnes and 2 filet mignons, and it's actually showing 3 champagnes. I rung in 2. Well, it says 3 here. Looks like I don't know how that happened. Well, can you fix it? I don't know. And you feel kind of awkward. Well, can I get a manager? Well, why do you want a manager? Well, I just want somebody that can help me fix the bill. Well, I can fix it. Well, you said you weren't sure. Yeah, I can fix it. So that's not a great attitude either. So you want to realize that, the server's there to help you, but it should be a mutually comfortable environment. You ask somebody for more water. The server shouldn't feel like intimidated that they got to quick pour it and like leave because they're intimidated by what you're going to say. It can also happen from the guests. Maybe you're pouring and maybe they ask like, oh, gee, I bet you can't get home to your girlfriend or something. Or saying that could possibly trigger someone because either they might not have a girlfriend, boyfriend, or maybe they just broke up or something. So you got into an area that is uncomfortable. And the server can't be rude, so they might ignore them and just say, "Oh, so you getting can't wait to get home." Like, I'll be going home probably in a couple hours after I finish the shift. And most of them will get the gist. Usually there'll be one guy being a prick and he kept talking and talking. And his buddy will be like, "Look, he's not answering you. I mean, aren't you getting the message? He doesn't want to talk about it." "Oh, he'll talk about it. I want him to talk about it." "Yeah, but you're being a jerk. Like, you shouldn't make him talk about it." And then your face might get red. And so that's a really uncomfortable situation. I remember being at a banquet hall and they kind of play favorites. And it was this event, and this kid at the event was turning 21. Well, there were friends in the family that I knew were not 21. So the head, let's say the banquet manager, because I was the captain, he's like, don't serve this table except for Brian. Everybody else is under 21. So, okay, no problem. And so I'm just going to say Diane comes over, and Diane, that's not her name, but Diane comes over and says, "Oh, make sure you take care of everybody, especially Brian." Okay. I said, "But they're all under 20. Well, don't worry about it. If they ask for a drink, just give it to them. Okay. You're not going to make a big deal of it, are you?" No. So I'm at the table and I give Brian his drink. He's like, "Oh, I want 12 Red Bull." So we bring the rest of them. I was like, "Do you guys have, do you have ID?" And so she's walking by. She's like, "You're not going to ask the guest of honor's friends if they have ID." "I'm sorry. Um, this is only my second week here." "Okay, no problem. Don't worry about it." Get the things, bring it back to them, and they drink them right away. And so I go away and they're like, "Server, yes, we'll have another round and make it a double." And so I look for Diane, or the lady, and she's not there. And so I go to the banquet manager, and I'll call him Steve. I say, "Hey, Steve, I got a situation. What's the matter?" "Well, table 18. Yeah. Well, that's the guest of honors table and his friends. Yep. What's his name? Brian's 21, and everyone else isn't 21. Right. So Brian obviously doesn't need to be carded. I know the other ones do." "Well, Diane, your cousin, is it? She saw me at the table, and when I started carding them, she told me not to do that and to not be a jerk and to just serve them because he is the guest of honor and those are his friends." "Really?" And she told me just go to the bar and serve them. Then they asked for another set of rounds, and this is why I'm coming to you. And he goes over to Diane. "John just told me what happened at that table." "Oh, John's a liar. I told him not to serve that table at all. I told him not to let one guy get a drink." And I looked at her and I said, "You liar." She's like, "Your service is starting to get pretty poor." And at that night, I finished up my shift, did everything I needed to do. I went back over to the head banquet manager and I said, "I want to thank you for been great working with you all these years. I'm going to say goodbye." "What's the matter?" "I don't have time for games like this between, your cousin and playing me like that. That was rude." "Oh, don't worry about it. She'll be fine." I said, I don't want to get involved with it. Okay. So I'm just going to say goodbye. And frankly, I just don't have time for this nonsense. So get someone else. And so it can happen even with staff. It doesn't just happen with customers. It can happen in a lot of different places. And it also happens somewhere else. You know where else it can happen? It can happen any public event you go to. It could happen at the donut shop. Somebody can make a comment, you're getting 12 donuts, and like, "Huh, you really need that many donuts, do you? Like, where are you going to put them?" And that's a nasty comment. And you don't say anything, but that's rude. So we have to know how to handle conversations because they can get us in trouble. They can cause problems. They even can be considered, ladies and gentlemen, borderline harassment. And harassment can result in legal action. And anytime someone feels threatened, even though it's a joke or is seeming to be one, if you don't think it's one, it's not a joke. So I think sometimes people go too far and they feel that they want to push someone just because they can. That's the most wrong and disrespectful thing to do. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic Wednesday evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this at whatever you know on social media. Go to my YouTube channel, John Space C Space Emerald Y Space Serial Entrepreneur. Look for that key phrase, help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a savory dessert plate. Either way, we'll be grateful. Those pennies and dollars will invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content to empower you to have the most amazing life. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one and be well.